Huh?
Cool.
All right, let's go.
This is Spyro 2 100%. Since its last appearance at a big marathon, it's changed pretty drastically.
Yeah,
so
this game has changed loads since SGDQ 2013 was the last time this category was in a
Was it really?
event.
that's the last time it was at a big marathon. Yeah.
So, oh, should we get a roll call on the couch?
Oh yeah.
So I'm Tyzerra. Hello.
I'm Martha.
I'm Zibang.
I don't know who else is visible.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
Yeah, so I'll start off by saying probably one of the first things you saw is movement tech in this game. We use something essentially called a double jump, which it's not exactly a double jump, but it gives the effect of a double jump. So
yeah, so your normal movement techniques in this game is that you can single jump by pressing X, and if you press X again, then you'll start a glide like this. But through an unintended mechanic, if you jump neutrally, so you don't press any directions, and then you charge, the game doesn't know which way to send your charge, so it just sends you upwards because that was the last direction you were going.
Yeah.
And it results in you getting extra height, which is why we call it a double jump.
Yeah.
And you'll also see I'm doing things with these lamps, like I'm flaming upwards. And that's called a flame charge jump, and it's literally the
flame
inputs
charge jump,
you do.
yeah.
You flame, you charge, and you jump, and the result is that the flame is directed upwards.
Yeah.
So there's so much stuff in this game you're supposed to backtrack for. You're supposed to kill enemies, collect power-ups, but through different movement techniques like these, you can completely skip over them.
Yeah. I'll mention one thing specifically in Glimmer as well. We skipped basically to the end of the level, and the reason for that was there's a challenge you're probably seeing Ty flaming these, what are they? Just lizards, I guess.
Yeah, lizards.
Yeah, and basically that starts at the end of the level, and the last lizard is effectively at the start of the level. So we get to the end of the level, start that challenge, and then work our way backwards. So,
oh my god.
Oh no.
The whole level is basically done in reverse.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because if you followed the level forwards from the very beginning, then you would have to go forwards through the level,
and
start
then
the challenge, and then like go backwards through it again.
Yeah.
So rather than doing that, we just skip straight to the end.
And obviously, getting out of bounds using the double jump mechanic out of bounds, you probably saw was in like the first 10 seconds of the run. So
I'm not sitting how I normally sit, so I can't like mash start very well.
Oh.
I normally like rest it on my leg.
Right.
But yeah, there's also a technique I'm using on baskets like that. So normally, if you break a basket like this, the gem just pops out. It just goes straight up in the air, and then you have to wait for it to fall on the ground before you can collect it. But when you charge a basket, the gem homes in. So by flaming it and then charging quickly, you trick the game into thinking that you charged through the basket. And the result is that the gem homes in even though you flamed it. And that is used like everywhere in the whole run.
Yeah, everywhere you can, because you can. It saves minimal time, but when it's used across the entire hour 40 that it is, it saves quite a lot. You just cut so many corners that way.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's a very significant part of the movement.
Yep. All right, so that was Glimmer. So you have to exit through the portal in Glimmer. It's the only one you actually have to exit through the portal. So.
Yeah, so normally in levels you just press start, bring up the menu and hit exit level and you're good to go. But for whatever reason in Glimmer, you can't do that. Like the option just isn't there in the menu.
Yeah.
This also makes
you can't,
resetting more annoying.
Yeah, you can't even quit game. Yeah, like it just doesn't give you the option. You can only reset console or you have to exit Glimmer and then quit the game. So.
Yeah, so okay, now that we've covered some of the basic stuff, so the objective of this run is 100%, and 100% entails all 10,000 of these gems, which I'm collecting. There are 400 in every level and every homeworld. There are 64 orbs, which you attain for doing challenges, mostly in levels, and then there are some like free floating ones as well in the homeworlds. And there are also 14 talismans to collect,
Great.
one of which I got in Glimmer.
When you jump
Yeah,
in
those
the
are
water,
only in
you
the talismans are actually requirements for unlocking the first two bosses, so you only see them in the first two homeworlds, as well as Glimmer. So once you make it to the third homeworld, Winter Tundra, you actually don't see talismans anymore. They have end-of-level orbs instead. So.
Yeah. And also, before I actually get to it, oh, okay, there's a big donation like flashing in front of me, so I'm just going to stop talking.
Very good.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Resume your thought.
Yeah, alright, so the main route for this game is, it's like the whole premise is that you skip to the end of the game as quickly as possible, get some end game power-ups by skipping into them, collecting them early, and then you go back through all the levels that you missed before.
Yeah.
So right here, I'm gonna...
It's gonna be a bit funky.
Yeah.
Yeah, this,
I'm not very good at this.
and
No, it's a tricky one. Doesn't
So-
usually take this long though.
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
Come on,
But
Ty.
I think it's easier from
This
this.
is why my estimate is high.
Yeah, I usually do it a bit left. Oh, don't fall.
Choking it, boys. Oh my god. So
Come on.
the idea is I want to charge over this little edge and carry the swim outside of the water.
Do you need some help there?
I do, I need some help. I can't do it.
Oh my goodness.
There
There we
we
go.
go.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's certain surfaces where the water level is close enough to the ground edge that you can sort of charge and swim onto the land, effectively giving you a swim in
Yeah.
air. There's
Thankfully for me, that's the only swim in air that we do in the whole
in
run.
this run, yeah.
Also, what you
So I
saw
don't need to
there.
do it again.
Oh
was-
yeah.
So I was entering the level early. If you have not unlocked the level yet, the portal is stored right underneath. So you can just somehow, if you can somehow enter higher bounds, you can enter all levels early.
Yeah, so certain levels in this game are locked. You have to get certain requirements to unlock them. But it turns out when a level is locked, it's actually just stored underneath the map, like where it would be normally. So right there, this is Ocean Speedway, the first speedway in the game. And it's supposed to be unlocked by getting 3 orbs.
Which we already have.
Yeah, which I already have, but it turns out it's faster to just like go out of bounds. And then by swimming underneath where it would be normally, I can just enter the level without having to talk to
Because,
any
yeah,
characters.
normally you would have to talk to, I think it's Alora there, and she does a little talk box thing, and then you can enter the level. So, yeah, you basically just come from behind and enter it from below, which you'll see it once more in quite a large skip in Winter Tundra. We'll point it out when we get there. It's a lot of stuff happens in Winter
it's pretty
Tundra.
big. So I guess we should also cover, this is a speedway, which is a lot different to a regular level, as you can probably tell. In a speedway, there are 4 sets of 8 items. So as you saw I just did, there were 8 rings, 8 arches, 8 cars, and 8 boats. And the idea of a speedway is that you either destroy or like pass through every item and collect all of them within a certain time. And then once you've done that, you unlock the ability to do one of these Hunter challenges. Hunter being the cheetah who's flying alongside you. And so, by doing a time attack, you get 400 gems from the speedway, and then by doing the Hunter challenge, you get given an orb.
Yeah.
So to get all the gems, orbs, etc., I need to do these.
Yeah.
And the Hunter challenges are usually given to you by either Hunter himself or some other character, like this fish lady.
Yeah.
Just hidden somewhere in
And
the
they're
level.
usually pretty auto-scrolly. That one we actually did it sort of out of order. You can get some of the rings earlier than intended to finish it a few seconds quicker. But yeah, most of them are intended to be sort of pretty auto-scrollery, which you'll see in
the next one.
yeah, literally the next one, and I think
Yeah.
Icy as well. So
Yeah, so this is probably the first big skip of the run. It's not really hard. It's not really like major. Oh, hang on, I can't look at the phone. Yeah, so by doing that, I just skipped into the first boss fight, which you would normally
put your
need.
mic.
Oh, okay.
Before you get
Apparently,
to
the mic
castle
needs to go
dungeon.
closer to my face. Oops. Yeah. So that was skipping into the first boss fight, which you're supposed to have all the talismans from the Summer Forest levels in, but we only did Glimmer, and I only have 1 talisman, so I couldn't just enter Crush normally. And it turns out a lot of the levels in Summer Forest anyway are faster by using Fireball, which I will achieve. I'm supposed to take damage here. I like completely forgot. I can't talk during this challenge.
No, that's fine.
This fight. And
I'll talk about this fight a little bit. This is actually, it should go the same way every time. You'll see him taking damage here, and that is completely on purpose. Basically, Crush has essentially two sort of phases. His first 4 hits, basically he will do this attack. If you flame him, he'll do that attack and the rocks will fall down on him, damaging him. And then he'll walk back to the nearest button that he was closest to. So you sort of take damage to walk him off the button ever so slightly, and then flame him, and then he walks back to the same button, rather than walking all the way to another button. So it saves a little bit of time there. He hasn't. Yeah, he didn't walk him off the button enough there, and swap can happen.
Oh
so,
my god.
So that wasn't quite optimal, but
yeah. I messed that up.
yeah, but basically it revolves around walking him off the button just ever so slightly so that he walks back to the same button. You want to try and do that as much as possible. So
yeah, the idea is you want to keep him as stationary as possible so he doesn't keep moving backwards and forwards,
because that's very slow. Yeah.
The different pad things.
So this is Autumn Plains, and we're gonna do exactly no levels in this home world.
Yeah.
We're gonna do something up here, which is this is the climb skip. So usually to get up here, you would have to buy climb, which is a little bit along. You'd have to buy climb.
Yeah, you might be able to see in a second. There are some ladders which I'm supposed to pay Moneybags, the bear with the bag of gems. Ooh. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, you can't stand on that side of the roof.
You can't, no.
But yeah, through a series of jumps, you can basically completely skip buying it here. So
yeah, so this lets you get up onto the castle without climbing. And then once I'm up here, I'm going to jump across these rooftops. And this looks really silly to anyone who doesn't really understand the run, because I'm not really collecting anything. I'm spending a lot of time just jumping around. But the objective is to get onto this roof without breaking a wall, which you're supposed to break to get up here normally. So that tunnel down there, which you just saw go off screen, you're supposed to
come from that way.
Yeah, there's a wall there that you can break, and you're supposed to use it to come up here onto the roof. But we need that wall intact to perform this next trick.
Yeah.
And it's basically skipping into the second boss fight, which saves a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah.
So it's really useful.
Yeah, so we got the Zap by Zoe there, so we can come to this island, collect the gems and the ore, and then immediately Death Abuse to respawn back up here. It's quite a bit quicker. So.
Yeah, and here's one of the biggest skips.
I can't even
in the whole game.
Yeah,
this is the biggest
huge.
skip.
Yeah,
in the whole game. So
it's probably the coolest skip too.
Yeah, I might fail it, but
it's very, very finicky.
Right, so the shadow drop is good.
You can see the broken wall there. So basically, what the objective of this is to stay clipped inside the broken wall, but dropping down to the lower platform, like that.
And now...
first try. Not bad. Yeah. That's really good, actually.
So this is the skip into the second boss fight, and it's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Before this skip was found by Tuval in 2013, there were 2 levels that you had to revisit in Autumn Plains. Like, you had to go to the 3rd homeworld, get an ability, and then go back to the levels in Autumn Plains.
Yeah, with this route, there are no revisits at all. You only visit a level once, and then you're going to get it. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so basically, this is Gulp, and Gulp has a lot of RNG associated with it.
It's a pretty heavy RNG boss at times.
The RNG consists of, apart from the first 3 hits of Gulp, the weapons are completely random. So the pelicans above can drop rockets, bombs, or barrels. And effectively, you want to get as many double or possibly triple hits as possible to speed up the fight. You're only supposed to get 1 per phase or per hit. But hopefully, so we only got 1 there. But effectively, there's a couple of ways you can do like double hits or even triple hits. So
yeah, so utilizing the different weapons that you get.
Okay,
I'll take that.
It's also worth noting that Ty will be taking damage in this fight,
and
that is intentional. He needs to be sparksless for a trick coming up. It doesn't work unless you don't have sparks at all. So
yeah, otherwise the game will crash doing the trick. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want that.
I thought he was going to pick up a rocket. Yeah. It's also RNG how quickly the weapons drop. But yeah, I mean, you're sort of relying on quick drops and good drops and where they place them. You're sort of relying on all that. So at the moment, this is a pretty slow drop. You can get quite a bit faster. Alright, so
there
he's
we go.
Sparksless.
So the little dragonfly following me around, his name is Sparks, and his job is to serve as my health meter. So he starts off as yellow. If I take a hit, he turns blue. If I take another hit, he turns green. One more hit, and he disappears completely. And for whatever reason, it turns out that the trick I'm about to do in the next level, if you don't have sparks, you're fine. But if you do have sparks, your game is very likely to crash. Like 99%. Yeah, so...
It is.
So right here, I'm skipping. You're supposed to speak to Moneybags again and buy another ability, a head bash, so that you can break some rocks and get into this castle ground area. But double jumping just lets you skip over everything.
All right, so like Ocean Speedway, there's a big portal in the middle. It's called Dragon Shores, and Dragon Shores only opens when you've beaten Ripto, the final boss. But using the same thing we learned before, we can actually skip into it before beating the final boss. So it's stored directly underneath the portal, just like Ocean Speedway was.
And so the point of this level of Dragon Shores, there's nothing to collect here, but when you beat the final boss, Ripto, you get taken here, and there are some mini games you can play. And if you have 100% when you get here, then you open up a room which has a permanent fireball power-up. I'm doing a terrible job of this.
Yeah, this is a pretty tricky OOB gotta do here.
Yeah.
Been failing this all day.
Yeah, I think last time I ran this game in a marathon, I failed like over 20 times. So
yeah, so this is it's a fairly tight jump. I don't want to.
Yep, there we go.
Like trick people into thinking it's really hard. It's not that.
All right,
hard.
so this is why we need to be sparksless.
So if I tried to swim without sparks, then okay, I couldn't see anything.
Yeah. All right. Lots.
Oh, I missed it. Yeah.
Okay, you're just gonna do theater.
I'll just do coaster.
Coaster.
I've got to get over the wall
so
again.
basically, the objective of going into the theater there, it was found by, I forget who found it, but basically if you go into the theater basically shows all the cutscenes of the game, so you can visit. After the game's completed, you can go into the theater and view all the cutscenes of the game. For whatever reason, whenever you play the final cutscene, the Ripto defeated cutscene, it unlocks. It unlocks all Moneybags instances, so it gives you all abilities, and Moneybags completely disappears from unlocking levels and unlocking abilities and things. So.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is. Since I have Sparks back now, when I died, Sparks came back. That meant I couldn't swim into the theater. So the alternative is that you can escape this roller coaster here, which is like I believe it's got like 3 or 4 frames where you can escape it, but then they're non-consecutive. So you have like 2 frames.
2 frames, and then it's 1 or 2 frames where you can spin around like that, where he did on one of the first attempts. And then you can, I think there's a couple of frames after where you can go into dark mode, which is very interesting.
Yeah, so it's a kind of awkward trick.
Yeah. But yeah, so what he does, he just loads that final cutscene, and now he has unlocked all Moneybags. He now has things like Head Bash, which he didn't buy.
I have the climb ability,
the
head bash ability, and there are also loads of instances of Moneybags in levels. So, for instance, there might be a bridge that if you pay Moneybags gems, then he'll put the bridge up for you. But by doing that, by watching that cutscene, Moneybags goes away and the bridge gets put up for me. Put up. So now there are loads of instances where he like opens doors or like takes down walls for you, and I just don't have to bother talking to him or paying him at all now. I can just.
Also, we have the fireball as well. That was the result of flying underneath the fireball power up there. So this makes the levels just much faster. So.
Yeah, so as opposed to the flame, the fireball, as you can see, it's a projectile. It like travels quite a far distance, and it also has splash damage as well. So even if I don't hit something directly, I can kind of shoot near things, like at a wall or whatever, and the resulting splash damage will.
Also, things like that as well, like those. What are they? Pumpkins.
Pumpkins, I guess.
You're usually supposed to destroy with supercharge. You'll actually see the supercharge a little bit into the level. But yeah, you can actually shoot a few of them with the fireball to... You'll see when you get sort of later on into the level, when you finish the supercharge challenge, you get warped back.
Oh, he's going underneath.
Okay. That enemy can sort of...
I don't know why he does that.
He can just sort of disappear into the pillar sometimes. But yeah, so also you'll notice that he's collecting enemy. You need more. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can tell clearly, but when I kill an enemy, there's like a white particle that comes out of them, and it starts flying around, and that's like I think it's called the spirit particle system or something for this game, and basically you use those to power up power-ups.
Yeah, so, and that unlocks the supercharge ability that I was mentioning before. So, yeah, once you get 15 of them in this level, it unlocks the supercharge, and you do actually need the supercharge, because while you can destroy pumpkins, there's a couple of wooden doors that, for whatever reason, you can't destroy with the fireball. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so you'll also see I'm chasing around this jar with a question mark on it. We call those mystery jars, and the concept of a mystery jar is that it spawns at a fixed place in the level, and once you destroy it once, then it moves somewhere else, and then once you destroy that, it moves somewhere else again. And all the points are fixed, so we know where it goes. And so there are a couple of levels. Oh, that's not good. There are a couple of levels in this game with mystery jars, and usually the route for that level
revolves around
like getting to that first, and then following it back through the level.
Yeah, it's similar to the Glimmer thing, where you try and start.
Okay, I forgot what I was doing now.
Where you try and start that as early as possible, so that way you can. Yeah,
it's like the worst one to miss.
You start it as early as possible, so that way you can sort of finish on. A lot of the times you finish on those challenges.
Yeah, the mystery jar just typically takes you backwards through the level. So why bother going through forwards and then
backwards when you can start backwards? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So right here, this was the last instance of the mystery jar, and it spews out a load of gems.
Yeah. Also, this is the last pumpkin. So when you fireball, you get teleported back to this guy who gives you the orb.
Yeah.
So
a lot of challenges in this game. When you've completed the requirements, you just get warped back to whoever set you the challenge. And so we use that a lot for routing. So rather than having to trek all the way there and then all the way back, you know, clearing out as much stuff as you can during the challenge, and then get warped back.
All right.
So that was quite a mess of a level. I hate Robotica. I'm not very good at that level at all.
I like Robotica. Robotica's nice.
When it goes well, it's nice.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, so we're about to come up to the next speedway, which is Canyon Speedway, and you'll see the auto-scroller nature of the Hunter challenges. I don't know why I did that movement.
Some Spyro 1 movement there.
Yeah, I know. Just like stopping and jumping, doing a charge glide.
Alright, so you get that waterfall orb, and usually there would be a money bags here where you would have to unlock Canyon Speedway, but because of the theater skip that was done before, he's no longer there, and the portal's just already unlocked for you.
Yeah, so rather than having to sit there, speak to Moneybags, pay him the gems, skip through his text or whatever, wait for the portal to open and then enter it, Moneybags is just gone, and I can enter it freely. So again, 4 sets of 8 items. Here we've got rings, tractors, goats, and vultures. And hopefully I can get all the vultures in one clean sweep, which we refer to as perfect vultures. So here we go. They're all up here. There's the end one.
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
That was nice. That was really nice, actually.
So that's really cool when you get that.
It was really clean.
And so now that I've done the time attack, I know exactly where Hunter is, and he's got a challenge waiting for me.
And yeah, this is a complete auto-scroller.
I hope you like high-pitched noises.
Yeah.
So I have no control of this little aeroplane right now. It's on rails. I just have to move the cursor around and shoot the balloons. So this is like the worst offender for challenges in this game.
Yeah.
In terms of like speed tech. There's nothing you can do.
There are not too many like true auto-scrollers in this game.
There's this, and then there's Icy's challenge as well. I think is. Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah, funnily enough, another speedway challenge.
Again, the Hunter challenges in the speedways are pretty much designed to be auto-scrollers. It's just that in Ocean, for example, we can cut corners and make it a little bit faster and do it unintended.
Ocean Speedway is the only one really that has some kind of shortcut in it. And even then, it only saves like a second or 2.
Metro, you save a little bit.
Yeah, you can save half a second in Metro with the strat that Tuval came up with recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not true auto-scroller.
There we go. That's like the worst auto-scroller.
Yeah. Once again, you
It was really difficult, by the way. It was impressive. You should clap for me. No, maybe
no one
not.
claps?
Okay.
No.
Yeah, no.
They all know better.
Yeah, so there are 4 speedways in this game. That's 2 down. There are 2 more to go. And the other 2 are fairly close together. Actually, no, they're not.
No, not really.
I'm thinking of the old route. Home in.
Alright. So we're going to leave the last of the Winter Tundra levels. There's, I think, 3 more.
Yeah, there are still 3 more levels in this homeworld. But because this is where the final boss is, and we want to end on the final boss, I'm going to leave these 3 levels for the second visit.
Yep.
So now this vortex is going to take me back to Summer Forest, the first homeworld, and I'm going to go through all the things that I skipped out on before.
Which is everything bar Ocean Speedway,
yeah,
effectively.
and Glimmer.
And Glimmer, yeah.
So you'll recognize this part of the homeworld because I cleared out some of it, but I'm going to clear out the rest of it now.
All right, so now we've got Idle Springs, and Idle Springs has another orb challenge, which has 3 parts to it. So the route somewhat revolves around around this challenge. So you'll see the first part. There's like 3 puzzles you have to complete, and they're in 3 different parts of the level. So basically, you collect all these underwater gems and gems at the start of the level and go to the first part, and then just sort of work your way through the level. The problem with this is that when you finish the 3rd part of the orb challenge, you get warped back to the first part. So
Yeah, so that was the first puzzle.
Yep.
Which is just jump on the
jump on
4
4 corners. Yeah, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
The second part is one of the only other instances of RNG.
Yeah. So the gulp fight and this challenge here, fish, these are the only instances of RNG, really.
It is kind of the challenge that it's not an auto-scroller, but you can't really do much to speed it up. You just gotta hope that you get good fish. It's really, like, probably the worst part of the speed run.
Yeah. You can lose easily a minute here by no fault of your own.
Yeah. So the idea is that this idle head wants feeding, and he only likes blue and yellow fish. So I just have to hope that blue and yellow fish jump out. If I were to flame a red fish into his mouth, he'd spit it out as well as spitting out a few of the other fish I've already given him. So you just have to wait for the red fish to pass.
Yeah, so it's completely random how many red fish and how frequently the fish jump as well.
Yeah,
so.
like sometimes you can get no red fish at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes you can get no red fish at all, but it'll still be bad because the blue and yellow fish take so long to come out the water.
There's also isn't it like the jump height of each fish is also a bit RNG?
Yeah, ever so slightly. The height that the fish jump out the water does vary. It's mostly consistent on NTSC, but on PAL, which I used to play on,
I remember seeing
the fish sometimes just jump out so low that you can hit them and they don't go in, which is really annoying.
Yeah, just more fun with this challenge.
The donation thing's been flashing for a long time. We should probably let
if
you have donations,
you can read them.
All right, then we have some nice donations stacked up here. We have a $100 donation from Anonymous. And he says, nice event. Thank you everyone who makes this happen. Take this for the children. And then we have a $50 donation from JJJ67 with no comment. Thank you very much. And then we have a $10 donation from Senpai Alishan, who says, good luck, Ty.
Thank you for the good luck.
And then we have a $15 donation from MuffinMan02. Good luck to my favorite runner, Tyzerra Tops. Your number 1 person fan club is here for you.
All right, so this is the 3rd puzzle challenge here. You basically just got to do the step on on the shapes in order, and you can actually do it either way. You can do it that way, or you can do it in the reverse way.
Yeah, the premise of that challenge is that there's the shape of the button, the shape that's on top of the button, and the color of the button.
Yeah.
And basically you just find like a similar trait between 2 buttons, and then that tells you the next one you
Also,
press.
that's a thing.
There are a thing in Spyro games known as proxies, or proxy jumps. And the basic mechanic is, I won't go into detail. If anyone's interested, hit up Jeremy Thompson on Twitch. He'll give you an explanation.
Yeah.
But the general premise is, if you get Spyro's hitbox intertwined with something else's hitbox, whether it's an enemy or a fodder or an object like the chest, and you jump out at just the right time as you like squash Spyro into it, the game launches you out, and we can use that to like get a lot of height or distance or whatever. But unfortunately, there aren't. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, there aren't many.
I think there's 2 in this run now.
Yeah,
with the new
100%.
Colossus route. You'll see one in the next level as well. But yeah, so effectively you're getting Spyro stuck in a hitbox, or you're charging into a hitbox that Spyro is not supposed to be in, and getting the proxy or the big jump essentially out of it. That's completely intended. The game is supposed to force you out of something you're not supposed to be in.
Yeah, the idea of the mechanic was that if you got Spyro stuck somewhere and you couldn't get him out, the game would realize and it would just shoot him out really fast.
Yeah.
So the mechanic itself is intended, but using it to get
abusing
really
it is
high
not.
or shoot really far, it's not intended.
As was said, Spyro 200% doesn't have many of those. But if you want to see more of proxy jump, you should watch Swimless, Spyro 2 14 Talisman, and then Spyro 3 Any Person. Those are full of proxies.
Yeah, if you want to see a lot of those, they're probably the best.
Since in 14 Talisman, which is, it's like an old any percent, it's basically any percent without the gulp skip that I did. And that category is absolutely full of proxies. Since you don't need to collect all the gems, all the orbs, whatever, you just want to get from point A to point B as fast as you can.
Yeah,
It still loses out to like 3 Any, which is like 8 or 9 useful proxies. Fucking crazy category.
Yeah, Spyro 3 any percent is nuts for proxies.
Yeah. Once again, go watch some Jeremy Thompson for those.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yes, this is Colossus.
Yeah, there's a cool little skip here. So it turns out, because of memory limitations, since this is a PlayStation 1 game, if they didn't expect you to get somewhere, the developers just didn't make things solid. But because of double jumping, because that gives us extra height that they didn't intend for, there's a lot of things that we can jump through that, oh, I need to hit.
Yeah, you need to hit that. You don't need to, but yeah.
Yeah, so there are loads of things that are non-solid which we can just jump through. And also what you saw me do there, like I just fireballed at the wall. It turns out there are baskets on the other side of that wall, and the splash damage from the fireball reaches through the wall. So you can just stand against the wall, do a fireball and charge, and the blast radius gets the baskets and the gems home into you through the wall, which is really cool.
And that's useful, like I said, there's a second proxy, this is the one in Colossus, and it's useful for it's a fairly new route actually, and you can go without, like with missing those baskets, but you do have to double back slightly. But you'll see it a little bit later on, getting those baskets early on just sort of complements the route and makes it a bit faster. So.
Yeah, so the route for this level, for 100%, had mostly been the same since kind of September 2013, which is like crazy. It was that way for a good 2 years or so. In fact, 2.5 years. And then Alex Dest, who is the world record holder for Spyro 2 100%, he came up with a new route, which saved about 2 to 3 seconds, which was great because we'd had this same route for so long. And then I realized that you could fireball those baskets through the wall. And that, plus a proxy jump, which you will see, filtered into his route, saves like another 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah. So all in all, we've saved like about 6 seconds over the old Colossus route. And this is one of the worst orbs in the game. I think a lot of players will testify.
Yeah, these two orbs
Two
are
orbs,
both
yeah.
Two orbs even, yeah. So the idea is you play a game of hockey. How difficult can it be? You take the puck, you shoot it in the goal, that's it, job done. The problem is the speed at which the guy, so like the guy has the puck at the beginning and he throws it onto the rink. But the problem is it seems to be RNG how fast he throws it. So even though we can like find setups to get those quick shots, it doesn't seem to work all the time because he doesn't throw the puck at the same speed every time, so we don't get to it at the same time. Oh my god.
Yeah, so you can sort of estimate, like, you can have the same timing like every time and probably still not get 5 quick shots, just because of it's mostly skill, but there is just a tiny bit of RNG in that case. So If you were to do like the exact same inputs every time, it's likely that it would vary ever so slightly. So
Yeah, so that was Hockey 1. This is Hockey 2, which puts an enemy player on the rink. And you also have your own goalie now. And so this is supposed to be like a 1v1 or 2v2, I guess. But I find this is way more consistent than Hockey 1. So I fireball this guy and I go forwards and slightly left, and most of the time the puck is right there ready for me to pick up, and I can just score a quick goal.
There's a couple of things to note as well about the goalies in this case. Your goalie will almost never shoot towards you, so if the puck goes towards your goalie, he will almost never hit it towards you. But the more important thing is that the enemy goalie will always shoot towards the enemy player. So if you can get Spyro in between the goalie and the enemy while the goalie is hitting the puck, Spyro will just pick up the puck.
Yeah, basically if the enemy goalie gets the puck, he always hits it to his player. So as long as you know where the enemy player is, you get between the two, then the puck's yours.
Yeah.
Also, we have a donation, apparently. So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right then, we have $11 from Luke Kill 51, who says, "Hello from the French restream. Keep up the work, folks." And we have a $15 donation from Silver Altar, who says, "I'll donate another 15 if Martyr licks Tyzerra."
Wow. Are you okay with this, Ty?
Go for it.
Oh, Silver, how can you do this?
All right.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, that was good luck though. I got the proxy.
Yeah.
Which I have been failing a little bit today. My face is wet now. This is.
I'm sorry.
This is not comfortable.
Blame Silver.
God damn it. Who was it?
Silver.
Silver.
Oh, Silver.
Silver
God damn
Altar,
it.
yeah.
Oh boy, Silver Altar.
The man himself.
But yeah, so the proxy jump I just did, where I kind of went into the floor and got launched up, because I did a skip earlier on, there's a... I don't know how to describe it. There's a little tunnel which should have been raised up. It's in the ground here. You can see it's just ahead of me. But because I skipped it and it never got raised up, there are these little holes in the wall which you can conveniently run through. And it turns out if you jump underneath one of the holes and get yourself stuck in the floor, the game's proxy mechanics kick in again. It says, hey, you're stuck in the floor. You shouldn't be here. We're going to launch you out really fast. And so once it does that, we can just charge again to maintain the speed and direct it upwards, and then that launches us straight over the top. And again, because they didn't expect you to get on the roof, they didn't make it solid, so you fall right through it and you can collect stuff that's inside. Yeah.
So
And apparently we have another donation, so... Go
All
ahead.
right then, we have a 7.77 US$ from Speem. Really enjoying the commentary of this run. Screw moneybags.
Yeah.
And we have a $15 donation from Light Scene. Good luck, Tyzerra. Can't wait for Mystic March's case of the missing pencil.
Oh god, no.
And we have a $5 donation from Blasphemous. You got this, Ty. Go for the proxy on Bombo.
The Bombo proxy. yeah. So
That
the
was
other
amazing.
day I was doing a run of this, and there's a level based on like a desert thing. You'll see it later. And there's a guy called Bombo who's like a stereotypical. He wears a turban, he rides a magic carpet, whatever, and he chases you through a level. And I got stuck between Bombo and part of the floor. I think I was climbing some stairs, and the game proxied me really high up, and I'd never seen it before, and I got quite excited about it. I had a good laugh.
I want to see it now.
It's a recent thing. All right, so this is Horror Coast. There's not a
that's about it.
huge amount to say about this level yet. There's a lot of weird stuff coming up soon. One thing here, basically, one thing to note about actually the electric gates. That's probably worth noting. The electric gates there. Usually you would have to pick up light bulbs to get them to work so you can go through them. But effectively they're one way, so you can actually go through them backwards without having any light orbs. They're just sort of like a one-way wall.
Oh, yeah.
Also, this is a thing.
Yeah. So like Marta was saying, you're supposed to collect these little spark plug type things. You bring them to the gate, you put them in a little holder, and it opens the gate. But again, because of memory limitations, they decided, well, hey, you're not supposed to be on the other side of the gate without opening it anyway, so why should we bother making it solid two ways? So there are some gates coming up, which I'm going to go through backwards. And because I'm going through them backwards, they're just like not solid at all. And I guess a thing that I just did there, there are lots of holes in things. So as well as scenery and terrain not being solid, there are also just lots of holes because they thought, well, you're never going to see any of the level up there, so why should we bother putting textures and stuff there? And so I just abused that kind of thing to climb on the roof and then fall through some holes and skip into that room that was down below.
It's also worth noting the couple of orbs that he got earlier on in the level. He got them very unintended.
Yeah,
basically,
so here are
you're
the electric gates, by the way.
yeah, the electric gates. So usually you're supposed to go through them the other way, but yeah, you can just sort of walk through them backwards. But yeah, those orbs, effectively, what you're supposed to do, you can probably see the big windmills that are going up the top there, and effectively you have to. I think you have to turn off buttons, isn't it? You have to press buttons.
Yeah,
I haven't done it in 10
I don't know
minutes
where they
so
are.
long. Yeah.
You have to kill the enemies to activate the power-ups and then destroy the small windmills and then activate the buttons and then jump over the...
Right, yeah, so you're actually supposed to
guys.
do all the way around and then
It's
you
such
get...
a long
Yeah,
it's really long, yeah.
but thanks to double jumping, we just skip over all that and just get the orb straight away.
Yeah.
And
Double jumping on
they
Fireball.
tell us thank you for helping, even though we didn't help
Did
at
nothing.
all. Yeah, and also this is like the main bulk of this level.
These challenges blows.
Yeah, this challenge is kind of not necessarily hard, but it's easy to lose a lot of time.
Also, I'm an expert on this. You can soft lock in this challenge if you kill the enemies off camera.
Yeah, so
Which you okay.
Like if they're too far.
Yeah.
yeah, the gist of this challenge is you have all these little lightning stones and you have to put them in their holders, but purple thieves come along. I never know what causes this one to spawn in.
Nice backwards fireball.
Yeah. Yeah, so you put the orbs in place, and then once you've got enough orbs in place, a timer ticks down, it seems. No one really understands this. It's kind of awkward. We just kind of know like what order to do things in. But you put the orbs in place, thieves spawn in, you kill the thieves. If they took some of the orbs out of place, you put them back in place.
Did you despawn a thief?
I think I've despawned a thief. There should be one more here.
Yeah, is there one at the other end? No, because you got all of them up top, because there's only
He's
4.
here.
Oh, yeah.
So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to kill myself and do the challenge again. What Zibang was saying...
I guess that was kind of the thing I was
It was the one you shot off screen as you said it, I reckon.
Yeah, which I'm surprised at. So
Yeah.
if you kill an enemy and they're off screen and too far away from you, there's a chance that they'll die. They won't be there, but the game doesn't register that they've died. So the counter said 9 out of 10, even though I'd killed all 10.
Such BS that it had to happen now.
Yeah, so the only way to fix it was to...
Yeah, the only way, yeah, is
Die.
to completely die
Start
and then
again.
go, yeah, which is unfortunate.
Oh well. Good thing my estimate's really high.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was good actually.
yeah, that was.
Yeah,
a
this
lot
is
of
like really
times there.
good.
So the one thing that is known about this is sort of how many spawn in each area, how many of the thieves spawn in each area. There's obviously 10 in total. There's 4 down the bottom in this area here. There's 2 in the middle, and then there's 4 up the top. So basically this this route also quite new.
Yeah, thanks to Tufel again.
Yeah, this also quite new. Basically,
Here we go.
yeah, you actually clear out the entire top area in the first go, which usually you wouldn't have done. So,
Thank you, Spyro.
yeah, so you clear out that entire top area, so you don't even have to go back up there, which obviously saves a little bit of time. So, because then you only have to clear out the middle and bottom areas. So.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate that I despawned a thief. I'm not really sure how, because he was off screen, because he was just behind me, which was off camera,
did
and I shot
count,
him.
Yeah.
Oh, it did count?
It
Yeah,
did.
I saw it
yeah.
count.
I saw it
Oh.
count as well, but
In that case, I don't know how a thief despawned then. That's
I've
just
had that
unfortunate.
before as well, where it's counted, and it's very, very odd.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It's just a bad challenge.
It's not fantastic.
Yeah, it's like if for people learning this game, learning this category, that is definitely one of the points where a lot of people kind of just say no. Stop.
All right, so Sunny Beach. So obviously straight off the bat, we've got a double jump and skipped pushing the turtle onto the button to open the gate. Instead, we can just jump on top of the gate and clear out the area that way.
Yeah,
so.
it's funny that the whole premise of this level is that there are baby turtles at the beginning, and you're supposed to take them to the end of the level. Because normally you wouldn't be able to skip through everything, obviously, so normally the only way to get to the end is to guide all baby turtles. But we can just get through the whole thing without guiding them at all, and you still get given all the rewards, saying, and they tell you thank you for helping, thank you for saving these baby turtles.
It's funny how often that happens.
Yeah, there are lots of things where they say thank you for doing something, but we
It
don't
happens in
actually
Aquaria
do it.
as well, one of the orbs there.
Yeah.
Similar sort of thing. Also, this is a route that is quite new as well. Like, this is only, what, a few weeks old, I think.
Yeah, again, thanks to Tuvul.
Yep.
So,
Tuvul came
He
back
never
to the
stops.
category, and yeah,
yeah.
lots of new routes were found.
That's usually how it goes with Tool. He comes back to a category and then
Yeah.
stuff
All in all,
happens.
this is quite a short level, though. Like, it's
It's
very
a very
small.
short level.
Yeah, again, the bulk of it is mainly an
Turtle
orb
suit.
challenge that we're just about to get to. So
Yeah, so there are some places where technically we can just double jump over doors and walls and stuff, but in this case, for this last door, it's faster just to hit the turtle, guide him up here, and he stands on the button and opens the door for us.
Also, you want to get back out through the door as well. So
Yeah.
if you can skip in there, but the door closes behind you, and it's I don't even know if you can get back out. I haven't tried,
can't,
but you
as far
can't
as
get
I'm
back
aware.
out at all.
Yeah. So also, I don't know if you've noticed, I've been blowing up these boxes throughout the levels, sorry. And basically, there's a challenge. You get given an orb for breaking open all these crates. And there was one, the last one, I left in the water down there. And that's because I'm going to get it after this challenge using a neat little trick.
Yeah. Actually, this is a good time for the donation.
Yeah, we have a donation, so
Yeah.
All right, we have $15 as promised from Silver Altar. I'm a man of my word. And we also have a $5 donation from Superior Warbringer. Oh yeah, it's my boy Ty playing Spyro. Good luck to you, buddy.
yeah. So this challenge, well, these two challenges, Turtle Suit, like Marta said, this is the bulk of this level. And essentially all you're doing is waiting for the turtles to come out of these little holes in the wall. And they're going to try and jump into the cauldron and get themselves cooked up, which is not good. And so you just have to push them into the water,
one of them.
and it saves them.
No.
And it's funny, this challenge, you can mess up a lot. You can play horrendously. You can save none of the turtles until like right near the end. And you won't lose any time because it's pretty much an auto-scroller until the last turtle comes out. So I could have played awfully. And then
One thing I'm sad that I didn't showcase is if you fireball one of those turtles, their physics get extremely messed up and it's hilarious.
yeah, you don't want to fireball the turtles because for whatever reason it sends them off in a random direction and their hitbox is messed up from that point on. So you could charge them in a straight line, head on,
And they'll just go
and
like
they'll go off to the
90
side.
degrees,
They can go backwards
Yeah.
even.
They can even
so-
go out of bounds.
Yeah, if you if you're unlucky enough, there's like a slight slope on one of the walls, and the turtles can slide up there and go out of
Also,
bounds.
something that almost got skipped over right at the end of the level there. He got that final box, the turtle box.
Yeah, the one that I
and he got it
skipped over.
through the wall. So basically what happens with... The good thing with Fireball is that if you sort of...
Yeah, in fact, you'll see it.
You'll
at the
see it
beginning of
again,
this level.
yeah.
For underwater fireballs, the fireball when it spawns slightly in front of Spyro's head. So if you poke Spyro's head while he's swimming up against a wall like this, which I'm about to do, so his head is up against the wall. If I aim here, the fireballs go through the wall. And what I'm trying to do here, there's a
Seems a little
button
high.
somewhere on the wall on the other side.
I do a lower.
Right, I'm just going to get
Yeah.
back in position.
Yeah, so there's a button. It's actually the end of level button, and it basically fills the entire room with water. So you actually can't get the talisman at all. Yeah.
Hold on, I
You
need
can't
to
get
come
the
back here.
talisman at all until that final button is hit. But yeah, it fills the entire level with water. So
Yeah, the idea of this level is there are buttons throughout the level. You go forwards, you press all the buttons, it raises water to different levels, and you get the last button, which I'm trying to hit and failing miserably. you get the last button, and it fills like the entire level with water, and you can't get the talisman in this level until you've hit that button. Oh, okay, I hit it with the last one. And so when you hit that button, there's a little cutscene that plays, and it automatically puts you in this last room. So now that I'm in this final room, I'm going to do the whole level backwards.
Yeah.
And then there's a second section to this level, which is up above, and I'll end up there. So, again,
Oh, wow,
normally
that's good shocks.
yeah, normally you wouldn't have Fireball. You would have to kill 14 enemies throughout the level. There would be a Fireball power-up that would be given to you temporarily, and you're supposed to use those to kill the sharks. But because we have permanent Fireball, just blasts right on through them all. And so this next room, because I did the buttons out of order, I didn't go through the level and press them all, there's a weird side effect. So I'm already swimming, but now I'm going to
Swim again.
dive into the water again, and then I'm going to dive into that water as well. And then I'm going to come out of this water, and hey, I'm not swimming anymore, because this game has funky swimming mechanics. Essentially, there is no such thing as water. This isn't actually a body of water, it's just the water surface. If you pass through it, the game says, hey, if you were swimming and you pass through it, now you're not swimming, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So you kind of like mess around with the water planes and confuse it as to when you're supposed to be swimming and when you're not swimming.
It also makes missing a gem in this level quite interesting, because once you... Yeah, it's sort of hard to go back through the level because of the weird water levels. It's hard to go back through the level when the water's all sort of messed up. But the good thing about Sparks' range underwater, it seems to be like really
way
huge.
Bigger. Yeah, for some reason, when you're swimming underwater, Sparks' gem pickup range is absolutely massive. You can be kind of miles away from a gem, and Sparks will still pick it up. And also, what I'm doing here, this is a really weird trick. No one really knows why it works, but if you just hold up right, just diagonally, it works up left as well if you're going the opposite direction. Just hold diagonal on the D-pad and charge into the ground, and for some reason you escape. This is supposed to be like an invisible wall, but for whatever reason you swim like right on under it, and you can get out of bounds and skip to the end of that challenge.
Yeah, you're supposed to save all the small seahorses.
Yeah, there are 6 towers scattered throughout the level. You're supposed to enter Tower 1, rescue first seahorse, then to go into Tower 2, rescue the second seahorse, and then all the way to the 6th one. But it turns out the NPC, that Seahorse King there, he only cares about his 6th child. He doesn't care about 1 through 5. So as long as you go out of bounds, rescue child 6, then he gives you the orb for it, and you let the others just rot in their cages, which is unpleasant.
Kind of dark.
Yeah. And so this is another hunter challenge where I don't know how to say it, like, you can't really speed it up, but you can make use of the time by leaving all these gems and picking them up while you're on the challenge. So all you do is follow this seahorse. I can't do anything while I'm on the manta ray, just move left, right, up, down. And I just need to pass through all these rings. But there is a trick towards the end of this, where if I mess it up, the game will crash and that will be run over. So let's hope I don't mess that up. As I follow the seahorse around here, there's one ring, this next ring. I'm going to go off to the left, get these gems. I need to go through this ring.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, and so if I hadn't gone through that second to last ring, you have enough time to skip that ring completely and just go through the last one. But for some reason, the game crashes, and no one really knows why. Well, it's probably just because you've sequence broke it, I guess is the term. And it doesn't know what to do. So the game crashes if you don't force yourself to go through that second to last ring. So thankfully I didn't mess that up. I don't normally. But, you know, it's a concern for a marathon. So now that's Summer Forest complete. So on the first visit, when I started the game, I did Glimmer, I did some of the home world, and I did Ocean Speedway, and then I skipped straight to the boss. And then on that second visit, I went through and cleared off everything else. And so now I'm going to do the same thing for Autumn Plains. I'm going to come back and do all the things that I skipped before.
Autumn Plains is a lot bigger than Summer Forest. There's
Yeah.
a lot of levels. It's
Yeah,
actually
this
broken
home
into
world
2
has
areas.
so many levels. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's effectively
massive.
broken into 2 areas. So you've got this area which has a speedway and 3 levels, 4 levels.
Yeah.
And then you, after you should buy Climb and climb up the ladder where you should have bought Climb from Moneybags, there's more levels and another speedway in that area as well. So It is quite a large home world.
Yeah, another 4 levels up there.
Ah. Yeah, some
And
people who
another
run this...
speedway.
Yep.
Yeah, some people who run this game with homeworld splits will often split this homeworld into 2 splits because you just have like an enormously long split otherwise. So again, this is a mystery jar level, so I skipped to the end of the level where the mystery jar was, and I'm just going to follow it back through the level rather than going forwards and then follow it back through again. And while I'm doing it, I'm going to collect these bones from the lava toes. Ah, that's a shame. I need to get the backup sparks.
Yeah. Yeah. Mention it.
So have you considered, have you tried the thing where you don't have to take damage when you get those 2 gems? You take 1 damage instead.
Oh yeah, so this level is incredibly damage abuse heavy, and you might have noticed I've already jumped in the lava a few times, and that's because there are gems scattered throughout the lava. In fact, not many, but there are some. And rather than killing enemies and getting the invincibility power up, which is the intended way, it's faster to just take damage, just fall in, get the gems, take some damage, and then get out. But the problem is that you're left sparkless a lot of the time.
Yeah, but
So
now they was recently find a way where you can do the lose time for it and you stay with 1 health.
Oh yeah, you can cut out one of the damage abuses. But it
Yeah.
looks kind of finicky.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you...
I always do this. I like that strat. It's good. So
You gotta go crotch strats.
yeah, so the key to these lava toads, if anyone new is learning the game, if they don't know how to get these bones to home in consistently, that one's annoying for some reason, but the key to getting the bones quickly is that when you kill the lava toad, if you charge into their crotch, then you normally get given the bone immediately. So crotch strats.
Crotch strats.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can do it on the one that was on the lava that I stopped to fireball, but I prefer the fireball strat, even though it's a little bit slower. And so also, that's another instance of when you've completed the challenge, when you've collected everything, you get warped back to whoever is in charge of the challenge. So I got all the bones, it took me back to the end of the level, I cleared out some stuff, and now here I am. This is where I skipped to the end of the level. And I'm going to pick up this stuff which I ignored before, and this is a nice place to end the route. So I could talk to that guy and get him to extend the bridge for me, but you can just double jump across. So.
The other goal is just to kill these dinosaurs at the spawn.
Yeah, if you know what order these dinosaurs hatch from their eggs, you can just
It's pretty
spawn
trivial.
camp them and just blast them out.
It's the same every time, so yeah,
Yeah.
there's no randomness to it. Makes it quite easy.
Yeah, it's funny though that you get a lot of people coming into streams saying, "Oh, I never completed this challenge as a kid," or "I've never completed this challenge. It's so hard."
They were really hard for me with
Yeah,
games.
I couldn't do it when I was a kid. I was one of those people. But once you've played the game a million times, you know what order going to spawn. It's nice. Yeah. So you're supposed to get the one on the left first, and then the one on the right afterwards to finish off the challenge, but because of the distance and the time it takes for the fireball to travel, you can shoot a cheeky fireball at the one on the right and kill him as soon as he hatches, and then kill the one on the left, and it saves like a second or something. So this next level coming up, oh in fact no, there's a speedway first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know the route to like the only category I run seriously.
This is Metro Speedway.
Yeah, this is the third of 4 speedways.
It's a bad speedway.
And this one's, I don't know, there's like not really much to this one. It's very, not necessarily linear, but there isn't like a whole lot of
Yeah, you
fancy stuff
sort
going
of
on.
do it mostly as intended,
Yeah.
but you can do it like a lot quicker than you're supposed to.
Yeah, if you were doing ILs or something of time attacks, then you would do a different route, but it's really hard. So the only difference is really we have fireballs, so I have time to just shoot off fireballs at things. I don't really have to take too much care in where I'm shooting, just shoot kind of vaguely in the direction of everything.
It's pretty good, actually.
And stuff dies.
Yeah, that first area can be a bit finicky.
Yeah, definitely.
Fireballs sometimes don't like to travel straight in speedways, I've found.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why, but in speedways in particular, your fireballs sometimes you can shoot a fireball straight at something and you can tell that it's dead center, but it just won't hit the thing for some reason. So we don't know if they like curve when you off-screen them or something, but Yeah, you can lose a bit of time if a fireball decides not to hit something.
So this challenge is also usually a bit auto-scrollery, so
Yeah.
how much time do the movement of the sections here
The what, sorry?
save?
The
How much time
charging.
does
Oh, so yeah, so this is pretty much an auto-scroller. All the supercharging, since that's faster than gliding, if you supercharge like everywhere in this level, which I typically do, you save 0.4 seconds, and then there's an ending strat to get this to get the last bag from the thief, and that saves half a second.
Yeah.
So together with all the supercharging and this
Less than a
cool reroute at the end, you save not even 1 second.
Yeah.
So you would normally follow Hunter through there and then around, but you can charge over the top.
Yeah, so you can get that money bag pretty much immediately as that thief throws it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we haven't really explained like what the challenges are or like what we're supposed to do, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Hunter flies through there. He shoots the thieves with a little laser. They drop a bag, and you have to pick it up, and that's it. So as long as you like get to the bag as soon as it's available to collect, then you're not losing any time. So this is the level I was going to talk about before. This is Zephyr. This is by far the longest level in the game. It's not that long in comparison, but there's a challenge. In fact, well, you get 2 orbs, but it's essentially like part 1 and part 2 of the same challenge. And we have to embrace our inner farmer for this level. We have to herd some animals. So again, this level has a mystery jar, and it's going to take us back to the beginning. So rather than go through the level and then have to go backwards again, I just skip halfway through the level. I can never tell what the enemy's going to do. You have to turn the corner blind. Did I hit that?
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it,
No.
but the other day I did a run. I didn't hear the balloon pop.
I didn't hear it.
But it worked.
Maybe.
Not sure. I was
It
confident
looked like
in
it should have hit, but
Yeah. So I guess I should also say, you're not supposed to be up here right now. Couldn't tell. You're supposed to pick up some seeds and plant them in these little like mud patches. And by planting them, they create platforms. You climb up the platforms. You run all the way around. You follow the challenge. And then you get orbs for it. But it turns out you can just jump right over walls and skip straight to the professor, get the first orb, speak to Juliet, get the second orb, and that's it, job done. You don't need to use a single seed. And so this is the first of our 7 good friends, the Cowlex. While they may appear cute, looks can be deceiving because they're very uncooperative and they can cost you a lot of time. So essentially all I have to do, like I said, is herd them. There's a pen later on in the level, and I need to get all 7 of them into the pen to get 2 orbs. You get an orb for the first 5, and then another orb for the last 2. So there's a second Cowlex round here. And while I only have 2 to deal with so far, I will be juggling around 5 of them in a minute. The last 2 are in their own kind of section, so they're not.
yeah. So the challenge is split into you get the first 5, and then you get an orb, and then you're sent to get 2 more, and then you get another orb, essentially. So, so yeah, there's now 5 in.
Oh, I did hit it because there's a 10 gem.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that fireball I shot up into the sky earlier, it hit a balloon, and attached to the balloon was a vase with a gem in it. And normally you can shoot the fireball and you can hear the balloon pop, but this time I didn't, which was really weird, but I was really confident.
Yeah, that's the problem with the fireball splash damage with Cowlex as well.
Yeah.
Is that it'll send, if the Cowlex is sort of spread across like that and you fire it into the middle, it'll send all the Cowlex in different directions.
Yeah,
so,
it can be really annoying,
yeah,
but it is fast, so.
yeah.
So there's 4 in, and then this 5th one, before I hit him in. So he's in the air right now, but because I'm looking away and I'm a suitable distance away, the game hasn't registered that 5th Cowlex entered the pen. So while I'm away, I'm going to go and do all this stuff. And it hardly saves time at all. In fact, I don't even know if it saves time. But you can get the 5th. So like if you got the 5th Cowlex in, then the game would stop you. It would give you the orb, and then you would do the last 2. But if you can get 5, 6, and 7 in all at the same time, then you can get the first orb, and then instead of having to run around and get more Cowlex in, you can get the second orb like straight away.
It's pretty likely to me that it's
Don't you skip
save
a?
some time.
You skip like a cutscene, don't you? You skip one of these text boxes. I'm pretty sure.
You might skip this one.
Skip the second
there
one.
are two more. Yeah, maybe.
So.
But yeah,
it probably would be faster if you could pull it off, but it's tricky.
Yeah,
so.
but the thing is, like, if you take the time to set it up,
it probably ends up
then you're not even saving time anymore, because it hardly saves anything in the first place. So that's why I didn't get it there, because I would have had to take time to set it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fairly good on the whole, actually. Cowlicks can be really troublesome.
And they can be extremely disastrous.
Oh yeah, angled fireball there to hit a chest, a metal chest with gems in it.
There was a metal chest up top there, and again, like, there's a fireball power-up in this level. You're supposed to kill 2 enemies, which activates the power-up, and then once the power-up's there, you can go through it, and it'll give you temporary fireball. But because we have infinite fireball, we can just go around and do everything as we wish, whenever we want.
You're also supposed to break that door with the cannon.
Oh yeah, I always forget that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use that cannon to break open the door, but hey, fireballs do the job. So
Yeah.
there are lots of things in this game where you're supposed to either get a fireball, like a temporary fireball power-up, or use a cannon, or use some other method to break something. But fireball typically does it all.
Yeah, there's a really huge amount of oversights in this game that makes this game an excellent speed game.
Yeah.
Especially this category.
So a lot of people, well, not a lot, but sometimes you get people in streams of this game, and they ask like why we use fireball if we did runs without it. And the truth is, like, it's just not as fun without fireball, because, well, I don't know if anyone thinks this way who's been watching the run, but I love it that we can just use these fireballs, just blast them around, and it speeds up the game so much. And in fact, I don't know how much fireball saves by itself, or how much gulp skip saves by itself.
It's extremely hard to estimate, but it's well over 10 minutes.
Yeah, like the combination of skipping into the second boss fight and getting fireball early, both of those together save like a good, I'd say, 12 or 13 minutes. So it just speeds everything up, and everything's so much more fun.
Yeah, there's
in my opinion.
many challenges which are much trickier with flame. So
yeah. God, I'm so hot right now.
Yeah.
It's roasted in here. Yeah, so this is Crystal Glacier. There's not really a whole lot to say about this level. I mean, I know we've not been discussing each level in detail at all, but I don't know. This one's kind of fun.
Oops.
Oh, okay.
Nice hover.
That's a really easy jump, but apparently I mess up the timing.
You'll see he'll be killing enemies. How many do you need here again?
I need 15 enemies for this level to get a Superfly power-up, which... Have I used the Superfly power-up yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, I think this is the first instance of it.
Yeah, we didn't.
But yeah, the reason we need the Superfly power-up is there's actually a challenge partway through the level called Draclets. And there's a few of them hanging over like a big pool of acid, which you can't actually
get beaten up by the wildlife.
Which you can't actually get over unless you have the Superfly power on. So yeah, you have to route him. The enemy count as well.
Yeah, so it's just down there. Those little jumping spider things, those are Draclets. And there are 18 of them, I believe. You have to kill all of them. But the gimmick to the challenge is that if you leave one alive for too long, then he'll spit out another one. And so if you leave it for too long, they all respawn. So you have to kill them all before they start spewing out new ones. And so this is a skip into this talisman room, because the intended way is to... I don't know if you saw, there are Eskimos frozen in ice blocks, and you're supposed to rescue all of them, and there's a big cutscene where they roll a massive snowball down the hill, and they break open the door, and you can go in and get the talisman, but it takes ages, so even though it's a little bit of a trek to run up that hill and go out of bounds, it's faster. So here's the Superfly power-up. I won't be using it too much. There's just like a bit or two where I need it. So I'm just going to kill all of these Draclets with Fireball. I actually prefer this with Flame. This is like the one part of the game that I really enjoy with Flame. It's so nice killing all these guys.
Yeah, you can have a route where you do the same thing as Ty did, but do Crystal Glacier before doing Globe Skip, but we don't really want to do Globe Skip.
That one's really neat. Yeah, and so I'm going to kill this one, hopefully before he spits out a new one. No. So this one that's swinging at the end, if you're quick enough, then you can kill the last Draclet before he spits out a new one that starts swinging. But I messed up a bit, so I didn't get that. And then there's a cool feature here. If you do the double jump inputs while you're in a Superfly, it still works the same way. And you can get like a huge jump out of Superfly. So I use that to just get right up out of that lower area, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to take a whirlwind, which carries you up. You run through a little tunnel, but it takes time. So now this is the most exciting orb of the game, perhaps. George, the snow leopard.
Yeah, it's another auto scroller.
Yeah, he wants feeding fish from these fishing holes, so I'm gonna just fireball these fish, knock them out. He starts eating them, and there are 3 fishing holes that he walks between, and it's always the same every time. So this is a nice like.
So while he's eating that first fish, you can go back and collect the gems that you missed there. It actually saves a little bit of time because obviously you can't do anything else while George is eating the fish, so you go and collect those couple of gems while he's doing
I could have
that,
collected the gems earlier or like at the end, but while George is eating fish and there's not much for me to do, I might as well get them there.
Yeah, utilize the time where you can't really do anything else but collecting.
Yeah.
So
now George is following me. Since he's eaten 3 fish, he's happy. He wants to come back now. So I'm deliberately taking my time here, because if I move too fast, then George stops following me. He gets lost. So you have to take the time there.
Yeah, if George loses sight of you, he'll just stop and stand in spots. So you have to go back so he sees you again, and then he starts walking again. So
yeah. This next level coming up, I want to talk about this one, because this is one of my favorite levels in the run. It's so good.
It's not a bad one.
Yeah, and Breeze Harbor, the name of the level, there is a faster route for this level that we don't do, because it relies on proxy jumps from the fodder, the clams that are in the level. But you only have like 1 or 2 shots for each proxy, and if you don't get it, then you're kind of screwed, and we don't really know how to properly fix the route, so we don't do that route. But it's a good level anyway, the route we have. Apparently we've got a donation, so go for it.
All right, thank you very much. We have $5 from Bacchus, who says, Sir Alligator and Team Golden Split, thanks for the Russian restream. And we got a tiny special $1 donation from the Savina Tour Games, who says, if someone in the chat or in the stream guesses my first name right in the next 3 minutes and 23 seconds, I'm gonna donate another $10.67. So guys, let's get on it.
All right. Worth pointing this out as well. There's a challenge, or an orb challenge in this level, which is notoriously known trouble with the trolley. And basically what you have to do, or the intended way to do it, is you get onto a trolley and collect the 50 gears using the trolley, and then it gives you a little counter 1 through 50 effectively. And it's very long.
It's so winded to do it with the trolley, because you're stuck on the tracks, and you have to, like, to turn left or right, you have to shoot these little signs which like alter. So if the sign is pointing left, then you'll always go left. You can't change it. But like by changing the sign to point right, then you'll turn right instead. And you have to like do so much double backing where you've already been.
Yeah.
It just takes so long. So rather than use the trolley for the challenge, rather than use the trolley, we just double jump up onto the track and then collect all the gears ourselves.
It doesn't give you a counter.
Yeah, it's funny. This was theorized a long time ago, years ago. People thought, hey, maybe we can get the gears without the trolley. But like I said for other challenges in this game, normally when you complete the challenge, you get warped back to whoever sets the challenge. But for this one, you don't. You can get all 50 gears and you won't get teleported back. So because that was tested and you didn't get warped back years ago, people thought, hey, you can't like do it. You have to get on the trolley. And then a runner, Bucci, who's been around for a while, she did it, and after she got all the gears, she went back and spoke to the guy who sets the challenge. And it turns out he does give you the orb. You just have to like get your way back to him manually. And so here he is.
Yeah.
So it's like, isn't it like if you talk to him even if you don't have all the gears?
Yeah, he won't give you the orb. You have to either die or exit the level, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have 49 out of 50 gears, I think Mr. Gem,
Yeah, 50.
Yeah, if you have like 49 out of 50 gears and then speak to him, because of because you did it unintended, for whatever reason, it effectively breaks the challenge. And then even if you do get the last gear, or you collect all the gears again, he just won't give you the orb. So
Maskless is free. Yeah. So you're supposed to chase some enemies around on that boat, kill them, and then there are some fires as well, which you light. And when you light the fires, the boat rises up, and so you can get up there and get the talisman. But through some clever jumps, you can just skip right up there. And there's one jump in particular where, so like the normal way to get up there is that you jump on the little mast of the ship, you jump on that, and then that puts you slightly higher up, so it makes the jump to the talisman guy easier. But you can actually make the jump without using the mast, and we call that mastless. But it's taking a while for it to catch on, for everyone to start using it. So.
But yeah, it's quite tough. It saves like a second or so.
yeah.
Yeah, it saves 2 seconds, I
Yeah,
think. So
because you have to, like, when you jump up, you have to turn around to then double jump onto the mast, and then turn around again to then jump to the talisman area, whereas this, you don't turn around at all, you just jump straight to the talisman, so...
I guess 2 seconds makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the level that we were talking about earlier, actually, the desert level with Bombo, the flag keeper.
Yeah, ever after this route could change to what it is now, Bombo suddenly became really, really annoying. You can easily lose like a minute in this level by getting some nice Bombo interactions.
Yeah, so effectively the route is based around this Bombo challenge. There's 3 parts to it, and you speak to... Handle, thank you. Speak to Handle there to activate the Bombo challenge, and you can see Bombo up there, and you have to fireball him down, and usually you would need to kill enemies to get a power up. Obviously we've got fireball, so it's not a problem. But he's situated in 3 different points in the level, so you have to do all 3 parts of Bombo where so they obviously get sort of longer each time.
Yeah, so this is Bombo Phase 1. He starts really close to the end of the level, so there's not much distance. But then Bombo Phase 2, he starts further back through the level, and so you have to chase him for longer. And then Bombo Phase 3, he's all the way at the beginning of the level, and you have to keep up with him.
Yeah, and those bombs that he throws are really trolly.
Yeah, it's pretty much RNG, like where he throws the bombs, but generally they're not a problem.
For the most part, with this route now, there's only really. Did you get that 5 gem?
I missed that 5. I was gonna get it.
There's only really a couple of points where you can get bomboed now.
Yeah, getting bomboed is what we.
Yeah,
it means
getting
hit
by the bombs. Yeah, probably should have mentioned that. But yeah, it's sort of rare now to get bomboed, just because of the route for Bombo 3, which is sort of new-ish. You actually don't see much of Bombo for Bombo Phase 3 at all.
Yeah, so for Phase 1, you saw I was pretty much sticking with Bombo the whole time. As he made his way through the level, I was with him. But for Bombo Phase 3, which is the longest one, where you're most likely to get hit, there was a route change. I think it was almost a year ago now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I missed that one jump. Yeah, there's a route change such that we kind of cut ahead of him, and then he has to catch up to you. So rather than you being in front of him and at risk of being hit, you're pretty safe until the very last bit.
The one to the left of the stairs?
With the newest strats, is it still possible to get
you didn't.
The talisman?
I didn't
Thank you.
so.
I didn't see that. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. So this is Phase 2. And you can kind of avoid Bombo a bit here as well, because rather than sticking down there where he can hit you, just run along the top.
So with the current strats, is it still possible, if you do properly, to get Bomboed while you're getting the talisman?
Sorry, what was that?
With the current strat, is it still possible to get Bomboed when you get the talisman?
I've never seen it.
I think you can be hit, but it doesn't affect you if you're getting the talisman.
Right.
Yeah, so you'll notice at the end, every phase for Bombo, you have to loop around this section here. And so at the end of each phase, we collect something. So at the end of Phase 1, I collected the baskets that were down below. At the end of Phase 2, I collected those 2 vases. And in this last phase, yeah, so for this last phase of Bombo, when I circle around the end, I'm going to collect the talisman and get a few gems. And there's a brief moment right near the end where I am at risk of being hit. And it's pretty catastrophic if you do get hit. But it doesn't always happen.
Also, yeah, you probably didn't see the fireball that he shot actually coming up to this area, the angled fireball. He actually hit Bombo off the post with that fireball. So you're lined up pretty perfectly for that. So
it's quite good.
And this is that's the trigger. Basically around that sort of area where that vase and 1 gem is what triggers Bombo to actually start moving around the level. So you have to hit that area, and then you work backwards and collect the gems.
I'll get that 1 gem at the end.
And you'll probably see Bombo come past as you're getting the talisman.
He'll nudge me, actually. There he is, so he just went past.
So
yeah, so it was theorized ages ago that we could reroute this level by cutting across the top area, like cut a bit out. But Bombo doesn't follow you. You get too far ahead of him and he doesn't follow you. But after some jigging around, we found that if you leave some gems by that cave that I went through, if you leave those gems somewhere around there...
you missed the 5 gem in the second area that you missed from the metal chest.
Oh, I never went back for it, did I? Yeah,
forgot as well, sorry.
Yeah, so like too busy talking, not focusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we basically figured out that while we're getting those gems by the cave, we can trigger Bombo to start catching up to us. And that whole time, we're ahead of him. So he's throwing bombs still, but no, we're nowhere near him, so we're not at risk of being hit. And then it's just that last section after the talisman where we could be hit.
Which it's never happened to me, but it has happened to a couple of people, but it's quite rare.
Yeah. So. God, I'm hungry. My stomach's going to start rumbling in a minute. I need to eat after this.
You'll eat after 139.
As if this is going to be a 139. Yeah. So this is a cool use of fireballs. There are satyrs trapped in stone in this level, and using the fireball, you can shoot a satyr that's really far away, and with the travel time that it takes for the fireball to get to the satyr, you can fireball a second satyr, and so you can overlap them being freed, and normally there's a cutscene that plays for each one, but by getting 2 at once, you overlap the cutscenes, and it saves a bit of time.
Yeah, it's used twice, so there's another one on the... do you do it on the final 2, or do you go...
I do the final 2,
Final 2, yeah.
Yeah, so there are 6 satyrs total, as you can see in the bottom. And I need these satyrs to open up one of the rooms, which has a talisman and some gems in it. And the funny thing is, you can skip into the talisman room. You don't need to get the satyrs. But the problem is, once you're in there, nothing's loaded in. For some reason, it's the only room that I know of in the game where you can get into it without having to do the intended strats, but the gems and the talisman person just aren't there, which is really strange. So you have to get the satyrs in the end.
Also, this is a challenge. This is the Alchemist challenge. You probably saw just before that Ty was fireballing those big stone dudes.
The Earth Shapers.
The Earth Shapers, that's the thing. And basically, that's in preparation. Firstly, obviously, those Earth Shapers will hit the Alchemist and stop him from going to his destination, which is to free Hunter from being stuck in concrete or something. And it's also useful in the second part of that challenge where Hunter actually asks you to go kill all the Earth Shapers, which usually you would have to do with Head Bash.
Yeah, so this is one of the levels where you're supposed to revisit normally. So even though you don't need Head Bash to kill the Earth Shapers, you can fireball them. The game just simply won't let you start the challenge unless you have the Head Bash ability. And so, as Martin was explaining, all that time, once I spoke to the Alchemist was walking around and he was doing his own thing.
Yep.
And it's essentially an auto-scroller, but as long as we... Okay, yeah, so while he's walking around, I can go and collect loads of gems, do all sorts of stuff.
It's actually a really tight sequence break, so
yeah, there's an easier sequence break where you don't get one of those satyrs, which is what most people do. But if you're confident enough with movement, you can get all those gems, plus one of the satyrs, plus the orb that you get as well. So it is quite tight. So
Most people can't do the advanced sequence break.
Yeah, that advanced one's hard. I struggle with it.
It used to be like an Alex Dest only strat.
Yeah, so Alex Dest, who we mentioned earlier, the world record holder, he was the one who started doing that strat, and for a while it was a case of, oh, it's an Alex strat. Like, he was the only one who was doing it because everyone else is bad. I kind of want that. I want that as well. Yeah, so while the alchemist was walking around doing his thing, I went and got a bunch of gems, I freed one of the satyrs, and I got an orb for a fawn who was trapped in a building, and I just broke the door down, which you're supposed to use supercharge for. You're supposed to kill enemies. There's a supercharge power-up, and you run around the level and break the door.
But
Fireball does it for you, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a really cool level, Fracture is actually, like speed-wise in terms of speed tech, because you've got the double satyrs, you've got the sequence break, and then also, as Zeba was saying, wait, I forget who was saying it, but once you've done the Alchemist challenge, then Hunter speaks to you and asks you if you want to kill all the Earthshapers with him. So by killing all the Earthshapers in the first place, you're killing two birds with one stone, really.
So yeah, he sort of just walks out of the room, realizes you've killed all the Earthshapers already, and then just gives you the orb.
Yeah,
so.
you don't have to do anything beyond that.
Yeah, and during that time you can just get those two bases.
Yeah, the two bases, yeah.
I don't want that. Right, so a case of going out of bounds, because there's only one way in and out of this little cave area. So rather than going in that way and then having to come out of it again, just skip out of bounds, get straight to it as quickly as possible, and then you can collect the stuff on the way out.
Yeah, with like fish and gold is the third major occurrence of RNG. The RNG isn't really that big of a deal here, but it can sometimes be quite nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically we have to watch these trails of popcorn pieces, as they're called by Hunter.
Okay.
And he challenges you to a first game where you have to get 10, and he's not slow, but he's not really on the ball. And then he challenges you to a second game where it's first to 15, and he's like really on point.
Yeah.
So if you get bad RNG with where the popcorn is, you can have a bit of trouble with this. But it's usually not an issue, because you can listen to the smoke trails. So I'm constantly listening out to where the popcorn pieces are going to be next, as well as looking out for trails as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get unlucky and basically have all the popcorn spawn sort of where Hunter is and none where you are.
Yeah.
Basically, you sort of want to keep an eye on...
I need one more.
keep an eye on sort of the count, and if Hunter's getting pretty close to winning, you kind of want to steal Hunters, so that he doesn't collect them and you do. So it's a little bit slower, but
yeah, it's faster than losing the challenge.
Yeah, faster than
losing
the challenge.
You have to, yeah.
Absolutely.
So now I'm back out on the surface. This is where I was before, where I went out of bounds. I jumped over one of the walls to my left, and so I can just carry on as I was.
Good camera.
Yeah, the camera gets stuck on that wall for some reason. So this level is kind of split into two parts. There's the outside area, along with popcorn, and then there's the volcano area, which I'm about to enter in a second.
Also, there's a Superfly power-up at the second part of the level where you only need 2 enemies to activate. There's very few enemies actually in this level, in the first part of the level anyway, so...
Yeah, bearing in mind you're not supposed to have the Fireball power-up, I shouldn't be able to kill... I shouldn't be able to kill the Earthshapers that easily.
Yeah.
So... in fact, back when I ran this on PAL, for some reason on the PAL version, Fireballs don't kill the Earthshapers in this level. So I had to route in 2 other enemies, which was annoying.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
Amazing.
So you're supposed to jump on that elevator there. I don't know why I jumped off of the top there, but yeah, you're supposed to take the elevator down to the bottom, and then you work your way up this volcano, but that's really slow, so we just jump out of bounds and start from the top. Oh, I need this. I need that balloon. So this is Party Poopers. And again, not supposed to have Fireball. So there are some rocks which you can see in the steam vents here. And you're supposed to pick these rocks up and hit the Party Poopers. But Fireball does the job nicely. And there's also a little trick I'm going to do here. So I routed, well, I didn't make the route, but like the route I'm using for killing these party poopers is in such a way such that this last one I kill allows me to jump onto this volcano. And jumping on that volcano is what triggers getting the talisman. So right there, I killed the last party pooper, and then in the few seconds I had before getting warped back, I triggered getting the talisman. And so by doing that, I got the orb for completing the challenge and the talisman for closing the volcano at the same time.
It saves quite a bit of time.
Yeah. It doesn't actually. It's like 5 to 10 seconds.
I'd call that quite a bit of time.
It's a bit of time. I don't know. I always thought it was more. Before I did it in runs, I thought it was like this huge thing. But yeah, it's a pretty cool trick.
Yeah.
But it involves having to route the party poopers in such a way that you can end up there at the top.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So this is Shady Oasis, not a particular favorite of mine. In shorter categories like 14 Talisman, it's nearly an auto-scroller because you have to, this hippo, who is called Shorty, you have to feed him these berries which drop from the trees. You have to shoot the trees that drop berries, and then he eats a berry and he grows really big and he breaks through the doors, and for some reason Fireball doesn't break the doors.
And the
so
joy of all runners sometimes, Shorty just decides to not move and
yeah,
can
sometimes he
lose
gets
a lot of
stuck for no
time.
reason, which is always
Fantastic.
good. Yeah, and so what I did with the mystery jar there is, the end of this level is like a really thin platform above where I just was.
Yeah.
And just like when I broke those baskets in Colossus earlier, the splash damage of the fireball goes through the floor. I missed like everything there. Yeah, so what I did, I angled my fireball upwards, which is I don't know if I'll be able to explain it. You basically, like as you jump, Spyro's head kind of points upwards for a short while, and if you initiate a glide in that time, his head like levels out again. So I don't know if you can tell by watching him. Like his head points upwards for a bit, and then as you glide, it levels out. And in that short period of time while his head is leveling out, if you fireball, then it will go in the direction that his head was pointing, which is still slightly upwards. And so by angling my fireballs, I can shoot a fireball up and hit the floor where the mystery jar is, and the splash damage breaks it, which was pretty neat. And then I got it the second time where it spawned in. So I need 18 levels, 18 enemies in this level. Yeah. So I'm just kind of murdering everything. I think I already have 18. Yeah, I killed 2 more than I needed to, but oh well. I didn't waste any time.
Yeah, funnily enough, the orb challenge that you need the 18 spirit particles for, it gives you an invincibility power up, but you don't technically need to use the invincibility. You just need to unlock it. It's kind of confusing. They won't actually let you start the challenge until you've unlocked the invincibility power up. So,
well, you need head bash as well.
Oh, head bash as well. Yeah.
So the challenge, which I'm going to start in a second, there are some hippos trapped in rock on the lava. You're supposed to get the invincibility. So I'm going to speak to this guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get the invincibility so I can stand here without taking damage, and then I have to free these hippos from the rock. And so normally what you're supposed to do is head bash these to break them. But Fireball does the job, so we use Fireball. But the weird thing is, the game won't let you start this challenge unless you have head bash. So even though you technically don't need the invincibility, you don't need head bash, because you could just stand at the side and fireball them. Even though that's possible, the game just won't let you start it unless you get all 18 enemies for the power up, and you have head bash.
Yeah.
So this was one of the levels that you would have to revisit before Gulp Skip was found. So now quick cleanup of the beginning of the level, because this is where the mystery jar ends up. Ah, I thought that gem had already homed in. Yeah. So that's another level where the mystery jar kind of leads you back to the beginning of the level. So we got kind of half the stuff that was at the beginning, went through the level, triggered the mystery jar, came back, and then got the other half of the stuff.
All right, so we have the final speedway now.
Yeah.
This is Icy Speedway, so...
This speedway is, I don't know, I like it. When it goes right, it's really good. But if you fail it, if you make one mistake, then it kind of throws everything off, and it's really awkward to get back on track. So you're never really at risk of failing speedways unless you just like dive bomb into the water or something. But you know, this one, everything just gets messed up and it's really awkward and annoying.
By far the hardest speedway level.
Yeah. So I'm going to kill all these Eskimos that are paragliding up top. I'm going to kill the Eskimo friends in the snowmobiles. And then at that point, that's the only cycle-based stuff. So it's nice to get it done out the way. Because everything else is just static. Yeah. So this is a notorious level for shooting a fireball at something, and you can see it's going dead straight. You can tell the fireball is going in the right direction. But sometimes it just refuses to make contact.
Yeah, those serpents don't like to die sometimes.
Yeah. I want to make sure I'm hitting that, yeah. That was still 1 minute left on the timer. Okay. That's quite good.
Yeah, so we actually saved very small amount of time there by diving into the water.
Of a second.
It was very, very minimal. But yeah, you can save that time by diving into the water. If you're confident the fireball's going to hit, you dive into the water, which and then the fireball
basically triggers the fade out. So yeah, so you can get like the challenge finishes, it fades out and like loads the menu. Either when you've hit everything, everything's complete, you've got all the objects or items, whatever, or when you fall in the water and not die, but we fail, I guess.
Yeah.
And with Fireball, since they have travel time and there's a little bit of time before the screen fades out, with that last serpent, you can shoot a fireball at the serpent, then fall in the water, and before the challenge fades out, the fireball will hit. And so you can save a tiny bit of time, because otherwise you would have had to wait for the fireball to hit, and then there would have been a countdown for the fade out.
That is actually a strat in Ocean, the first, what's it called? The Ocean Recover Away is what it was.
Yeah, that's what I titled the first highlight.
But yeah, basically you can, with the final boat, you can dive into the water, triggering the fade out, and then flame at the very last moment, getting the boat, and then giving you, essentially, you've finished the time trial. And it saves, again, it'd be pretty minimal.
It saves a fraction of a second.
It's kind of risky, because if you don't hit it, then you have to do the entire time trial again.
Yeah, the strat is that you fall in the water, and while you're in the water, Spyro does this animation where he like smacks his hand, or claw, I guess. He smacks it into the water and he's like angry that he's failed. And then there's like a tiny fraction of a second where you can flame or fireball. And it's in that tiny fraction of a second that you want to flame and you need it to hit the boat.
Yep.
So if your timing is off or you're just not facing the boat, you're not close enough, then you'll fail and you'll have to redo the whole time attack again for the sake of trying to save like a fraction of a second.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, it's a cool strat though. Yeah. So this is probably my favorite level.
It's pretty good
in the run. I really like this. It's been my favorite for a long time.
I didn't used to like it, but I've grown accustomed to it.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah,
it's quite nice. Yeah, the movement is it's kind of tricky when you're first learning, but once you do it right, it feels really, really nice.
Yeah, and also you would have seen at the beginning there was a nasty warlock who I had to kill, and there are quite a few of those warlocks. There's another one coming up, and a useful trait of the warlocks is when you kill them, you get put in a certain spot, and that spot is always the same. So there's a warlock coming up, which I'm going to. Wow, okay, just hit me from off screen. There's a warlock I'm going to hit, and I'm going to abuse that to get myself put up somewhere else.
Oh, that's right, new route. Thanks, Twoffle.
Yeah, so you can see there was a power-up gate there. I needed 21 enemies, but by double jumping and using Fireball, you can just hit those bells immediately.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of... You have to, like, flame.
I think they're called trolls.
Oh, yeah. And you basically have to climb on top of them and then charge into the bell. You can actually bonk onto them. They're loaded, but they're invisible, so you can actually... The reason why he was jumping over in that bell room.
Oh, yeah. I forget about stuff like that when I just do...
Yeah, they're actually loaded, so you can completely bonk into them, but they're just not there because you haven't effectively, I think you haven't spoken to the guy, was it?
Yeah.
Something like that, so you just sort of go straight to the challenge.
So this is one of the warlocks.
Oh, you don't do the new route, never mind.
Well, I was doing it for a while and I was failing it, so
okay.
I decided to set it aside for now. There's a slightly faster route for this section, which saves 5 seconds, but I've not been having much luck with it. So this right here, this is another sequence break. I shot a fireball at the Warlock, which means that I can... So while the fireball was traveling to the Warlock and hitting him, I went and spoke to Agent Zero, and while I was speaking to Agent Zero, the fireball hit, and so I gained control while I was talking to Agent Zero, because otherwise you wouldn't have control when you're talking to someone. And basically that whole sequence break, all the shenanigans there, means that I can get Agent Zero to start walking early, because he's on a fixed... this is essentially an auto-scroller, I guess, in the sense that Agent Zero walks at a fixed speed, and I just have to follow him. So I could get him to start walking earlier if I do that Warlock snipe thing. And so that saves a nice like 5 to 10 seconds, which is really good. And then at the end here, I can get all these gems while he's looking around for me.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
So
it ends up making that level fairly short, actually. But
Yeah.
an otherwise probably pretty long level made pretty short.
Yeah,
so.
if you don't know how to get all those gems during the challenge, it is quite long. And then the sequence break at the beginning as well.
Yeah.
Because you have to, you follow Agent Zero all the way to the end, and then you go back and get all the gems that you didn't get before.
Yeah.
And it adds up quite a lot, so...
This is coming to one of the other sort of longest levels in the game. Basically because of sort of one challenge, one orb challenge, which is essentially a trade sequence.
Yeah, it's a really long challenge.
Yeah.
Basically, you talk to the professor who gives you an egg, and then using the egg, you have to take that somewhere, you put it in a bird's nest, and then the bird comes along and gives you another item, and then you take that item somewhere, and then that spits out another item, and you have this whole sequence of trading items. Also, that you can get a pencil for the professor. Why he can't just get another pencil, I don't know. He needs this like one specific pencil.
It's a pretty tough level, full of annoying things.
Yeah, if there's anyone who like wants to join a blind race to Spyro 2 100%, I always tell them to look at Mystic Marsh first. This level is horrendous if you don't know a route. So I've got the egg now, and while the egg's in my mouth, I can't fireball. If I pressed circle, which is normally flame fireball, I would just spit out the egg. So I need to make sure to just charge everything while I have this in my
And there's
mouth.
certain enemies that you can't charge as well.
Yeah,
so,
which presents a
snail-effects,
problem.
Yeah. So usually it's just easier to take damage from them rather than spitting it out, fireballing them, and continue, and then picking it back up. It's very slow to do it that way. So you sort of always want to have, you know, at least sort of blue sparks.
Yeah, managing your health in this level is quite important.
Yeah.
So I spit the egg out, and now there's a seed waiting for me there, I believe.
Yeah.
And so I can leave it for a bit, nothing will happen. If you leave an object for too long, then it'll disappear and go back to the place it originally spawned. But if you're quick enough, then you can leave objects. So, like, because this was the first instance of the seed spawning in, it's fine, it's not going to disappear, I can do whatever I want. But I'm going to spit it out in a minute. And I'm going to have to make sure to pick it up quickly again. But it's
So this is the Sparks Plugs challenge as well. So this is interesting because this is another one of those orbs that when you finish it, you get warped back to the guy to get the orbs. So it makes routing, especially with the trade sequence, kind of tricky.
Yeah,
so
coming up for with a route for this level with everything taken into account is kind of hard. I think I missed it. Oh yeah, so I'm pausing and unpausing. Might be wondering why. So each time I kill one of the spark plug thieves, there's like a little cutscene of the spark plug floating up in the air, and during that time you lose control of Spyro. You can't do anything. But it turns out if you pause and unpause at the right time, you can gain control again. And pausing, unpausing is faster than waiting to gain control normally.
Or you can do what Ty did for the first two thieves. He hit two thieves and then spoke to the end of level orb guy. And that also cancels out the taking away your camera and your ability to do anything.
Yeah, so essentially so I shot a fireball at the first thief, then a fireball at the second thief, and before I lost control, I spoke to the end of level NPC. And so while I didn't have control, while I couldn't do anything, I was just getting the orb, because I wouldn't be able to move while getting that anyway. So it's just kind of stacking things together so that you spend as little time or downtime as possible, really.
It's a very nice way to do this section. I really like it.
Yeah, it's also important killing that last spark plug thief with the what was it? The duck. You had the duck.
Yeah, I had the duck.
Duck in your mouth, and basically, if you have to spit that out to fireball it. But then you have to pick it back up before you lose control, do the pause and unpause, because you get teleported back to the guy.
Yeah. So
if you don't pick it up, then you don't have it in your mouth and you have to go all the way back to go pick it up.
Yeah,
so.
and typically, you can make it in time, but typically the duck will despawn before you even get to it.
Yeah.
So as well as losing time because you have to run all the way back to get it, it disappears right in front of your eyes, and you have to run back to where it originally came from. And so, yeah, the entire route for this level is built around this trading challenge. And so right at the end, as I split the pencil at the professor, I got those last 2 gems before getting warped, and then that was it.
All right, I think there's just one level to
So,
go.
yeah, just one more level left to go. Metropolis, a fan favorite, I think. So I should have 60 orbs here.
Yep.
Yeah, because there are 64 total. It's 4 in Metropolis. Apparently we've got a donation.
Yeah,
Let's go.
donation's a good time, actually.
All right, thank you. So we have a $5 donation from Anonymous, who says Spyro and Ty hearts. And we got a $10 donation from Natty, who asks, can you do early Ripto?
No, Natty, I can't do early Ripto. Sorry.
Blasphemy even mentioning it.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
don't
I could talk
about
about
early
it for
Ripto.
like 10
No.
hours, but I'm not going to start.
So this level's quite cool because it's all space future themed, but there are also loads of farm animals. There are pigs and cows and sheep. And it's pretty cool. It's just a nice blend of themes. I don't know how I missed that. Yeah. So it's funny. There's a power-up in this level right at the very end, which needs 2 enemies. Oh, I forgot. I did the wrong inputs. Yeah, there's a power-up at the end of this level which needs 2 enemies, but the pigs, for some reason, are suicidal, and they kill themselves anyway, so you don't even have to make any effort to kill enemies.
And you get the
'cause
power up.
the pigs just die, and there you go, there's the power-up unlocked.
Yeah, it's just a power unlock is just trivial.
Yeah.
Also, that challenge, again, made trivial with the fireball. You're supposed to hit back bombs, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's an ox at the other side,
yeah.
and he throws bombs at you, and you have to flame the bombs back at him. But with Fireball, you just launch fireballs at him, and there's nothing you can do. So, yeah, and this level is quite cool in the sense it has a lot of, I don't know, like high-value gems. You've got like loads of 1 gems and 2 gems around here, but then in this final room, there are loads of 10s, 5s. I don't think there's a 25 though.
No.
So it's like a really short level. If you look at it, there's a really cool program, the Spyro World Viewer, which lets you look at Spyro levels in like a free roaming camera type deal. Nice. Yeah, and if you actually look at this level, it's tiny. There's nothing to it. In fact, the start is right there in front of me where I just fireballed. That's where I started the level there.
Yeah.
So it's tiny, but it has so many gems just packed into it. And this final room is like, I want to say it's like a mess, but I don't know. It's really
very
cool.
open, so
Yeah, there have been a lot of routing ideas for this.
Also, it's nice with UFOs too.
I need that balloon.
Okay, which he just messed up, but that is that's consistent. Where those UFOs spawn is consistent every single time. I think except for the last UFO you hit. Sometimes you can go up or down.
Okay.
But usually you can hit all 5 UFOs in the same places every time. So
What's the last one?
except he missed a balloon and therefore missed the cycle, and that messes everything up. And you can see how slow it is if you lose one.
Where is this 5th UFO?
I hear it.
I'm just gonna collect gems.
Yeah.
I don't know where this 5th UFO is.
This is not usually how it's done. Usually we'll get all the gems like after.
Yeah, normally I would finish the challenge and then get loads of gems. But since I don't know where this UFO is,
Oh, you're gonna run out of Superfly.
yeah, that's what I'm heading to. Oh, I heard him. He's behind me. Oh, right there.
There he is.
There he is. Okay. So there's still some gems to get, but
Yep.
it's fine.
Improvised route.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all the ops of the game.
Yep.
I guess I'll do this now. That wasn't too bad for an improvised route.
Yeah. Oh,
6
well.
gems. Where am I missing 6?
It's a good question.
Oh, these 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's the only problem with improvised routes.
Alright, that's the final level. So
Yeah,
basically
that's all
from
the
here,
levels done.
go defeat the final boss, Ripto. Collect the last few gems, unlock the final door, and then
Yeah,
then
there are
beat
a few
Ripto.
more gems on the way.
Also, with Fireball, there's 3 phases to Ripto. You automatically are given Fireball for the 3rd phase. But yeah, for the 1st and 2nd phases, Fireball is not the intended way to hit Ripto. So
Yeah.
he'll go down in health in the first, or all 3 phases quite quickly
Yeah.
because of the Fireball. It makes Ripto pretty trivial.
Yeah, it's in that Ripto is really slow and no one can
Yeah,
ever do
it's-
it.
It's like
very bad. And-
hugely RNG
Yeah.
if you do this the intended way. You're supposed to wait for colored orbs to drop. A hunter is like flying above and he drops colored orbs. And you have to like build up 3 before you get to use an attack, and even then it's just temporary.
Yeah.
But with Fireball, you just there's like launch fireballs at him.
Oops.
Like, what's
And he's going to try and get an early. Okay,
Oh,
no.
messed
You
that
can
up.
actually get early hits on both the 2nd and 3rd phase. Yeah, so you can Fireball backwards to hit Gulp and Ripto early on that 2nd phase
Yeah,
for 1
so-
hit. And you can Fireball sort of in that area, and you can see that Ripto actually took a hit early. So
Yeah. So I don't know if someone wants to get ready on time.
yeah.
It's when Ripto's health bar drops to 0, I'll be sure to point it out. So I just need to follow him around. He doesn't always fly the same way here. I don't want to say it's RNG. I think it's
I think you
like
can manipulate
position.
it.
Yeah. It seems that you can manipulate him, but it's either really precise or it's just RNG.
Yeah.
So where is he?
Oh.
I don't know why he went that way. And that's time. So, oh, I skipped that. I shouldn't have skipped that. So yeah, that's Spyro